Okay, so good afternoon from Jakarta, human rights enthusiasts. I hope that those who are watching this are blessed with this delightful day. Allow me to introduce myself first. My name is Nadine Sherani Salsabila, currently the A3T Secretariat. Today, as seen in the poster, we will be discussing a lot in regards to extrajudicial killing in Asia, a string of connection with impunity, and the role of CSOs. So, a little bit of briefing about extrajudicial killing in Asia. It has been one of the great sources of human rights violations. Glancing back to OHCHR's definition, extrajudicial killing is the deliberate killing of individuals outside any legal framework and is a violation for the fundamental right. This means that there are no rights, even for the authorities, to torture and even to the point of killing innocent citizens without the supervision and the accordance to the designated law. So there will be tons of questions as well as discussions in this session. Though in this webinar, I will not be speaking and talking alone, but I have my friends here, Kiriti Roy as the Secretary of Masum India and Adeliza Hernandez as the Executive Director of Medical Action Group Philippines. So I will just say hi to Kiriti first. Hi Kiriti, how are you today?
Yes, thank you. Good morning.
Hi. Okay. Yeah. Morning from India, probably. Yeah. Okay. I would just jump into Ed Eliza. How are you today, Eliza?
I'm fine also. So far, yeah, it's a nice weather outside.
Okay, that's very good because here in Jakarta is raining, so we will just probably also check the connection and etc. Okay, we're just gonna jump into our fun activities or our questions regarding extrajudicial killing. So just to jump right in, maybe I would like to have a discussion regarding Adeliza's and as well as Kiriti's point of view regarding extrajudicial killing in Asia. How do you view this issue? Maybe Kiriti can start first, and you can just start off from your country's perspective, and then you can just continue from your South Asia's experience and perspective.
Thank you. To me, here the issue of extrajudicial killing, it is something very serious. That people are being killed. Uh, my issue is concerned when they are killed by the uniform state officials who are being paid from our pocket. So those issues are very grave, and I don't know what to say. India is largest democracy in the world, but it is the largest number of extrajudicial killing. It is regularly going on in every corner of the state, and net result is the impunity. Those people who are killing those helpless citizens of India, they are never punished, nor ever even been booked. And it is the same situation in all the countries in Asia, especially the South Asia. Um, the judiciary is not sensitive. The departments, higher ups, police, border guards, Central Reserve Force Police, and many others, hundreds or thousands of different police force. Uh, they are being empowered, and many times the government are honoring them, giving them prize and extra medal for their those acts. Though in India it is mm, constitutional rights that every people, not only citizen, every people in India, they have their right to life, and it is a mockery. By one hand, they are giving rights, constitution is giving right, and constitution holders, the government, the state, they are killing and killers are being unpunished. Our killing, it is a problem, not only the perpetrators, it is the problem of our criminal justice system, I should say. The problem from British, when we are under rule of British, the colony, and from that time it is going on without any without any stop or something. Indian Penal Code section 96, it allows the killing only when their lives are in danger, they are being attacked. So every killing is being done in this name. So uh, our our extrajudicial killing take place in our country um, by the in the name of um, self security, and for these they open fire, and it is supported by our political parties, mainly who are in power. The dissents are being killed. Political activists who are in opposition, they are being killed. Uh, those people who are not in the good book, good name in their list of the government, they are being killed. Human rights activists, they are being killed or arrested and kept in jail for years. Um, it is the general situation. And after looking our Supreme Court, Apex Court in India, passed several judgments, remarkable judgments. They placed in 2014, but after 8 years, it is not implemented. Our National Human Rights Commission, uh, they circulated to stop extrajudicial killing some guidelines in 1997, and again it revised in 2010, but it is not implemented. So as so far I know, I visited several countries in South Asia. I have knowledge that it is the same picture of South Asia, and everywhere impunity is there. So I would suggest that when we discuss about extrajudicial killing, we should think about especially A3T, to think about people who are being killed in the name of honor killing, people who are dead due to hunger, starvation death. Those cases should be taken into account of this issue. Uh, yes, it is the my preliminary reaction about extrajudicial killing in Asia, and thanks to A3T for inviting me to place my concern. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kiriti Roy. This has been a very good elaboration, since you have also stated several timelines of what has been happening in regards to extrajudicial killing, not only in India, but also the patterns of the issue in South Asia. A very well prepared and a very well done elaboration. And it's also ironic, since there are a lot of solutions that can be implemented, but it's only stated as a framework instead of implementation and also execution. So that's a good point of view also from Kiriti. Maybe I would jump into Adeliza, or whether you want to answer the statement before, or you have any more maybe point of view from the Philippines, since I have heard that the war on drugs has caused war, actually, or extrajudicial killing in Philippines. Maybe you can elaborate more on that.
Yes, thank you, Nadine. Good afternoon from the Philippines. I would like to add, if I may, I would like to inform everybody that I'm not a legal expert. In fact, I'm from the health sector and a human rights advocate. Um, the from that point of view, I would like to say that the Philippines, as a signatory to the ICCPR, or the International Convention on the Civil and Political Rights, where it recognizes the right to life. You know, for a fact that health is the great promoters of the right to life. And under the ICCPR, the right to be free from execution also covers arbitrary and extrajudicial killing. Ergo, extrajudicial killing is a denial of the right to life and the right to be free from execution. And so you are right that when the Philippines is now known to be it started with the campaigns in relation to the war on drugs. And these extrajudicial killings started with the killing of suspected, and drug dealers, addicts, and these killings is not resulted very good, as it has some excesses. For example, um, I think we before us there's Thailand first, and then or maybe Indonesia, when they also promoted this as anti-crime campaign. However, as I've said, now we do have, at least at the very least, the government recognizes that there is a 5,000 um, excessive or abuses by the police. No, they recognize this thing, but I think hundreds only are only after 2019, when the United Nations have given attention to this. The government says they promise to investigate cases, and until now, I think they only investigated at least 500, and I do not know how they were. And anybody can Google this, because it is part of the speech of the Department of Justice in relation to in their report to the United Nations. Um, so it's unfortunate. The same with Kiritino. We do not have a legal term for extrajudicial killing. It's not accepted. However, it is recognized because there was a Supreme Court justice that come up with a decision in relation to the uh, um, the writ of amparo for in favor for the disappearance of Manalo brothers. And so I think the the same with others, we do have a problem in relation to the legal term, but it's not so much a problem to others, no. If I may add, these campaigns does not result positively to us, no. Um, at the very least, they said they have already it is a success. It claims drug supply in the country has been cut, but um, And also what is highly notable is there is a public support um, on the first 3 years, I think, no, in the first year or to second year of this administration. But immediately in the long term, because of the excesses, uh, meaning there are killings outside being done by the gangs or drug gangs, and they only cover it as a part as cases to eliminate rivals. So I do not think this is a good um, example of a good or an answer to anti-crime. No? So that's our advocacy. Thank you.
Okay, that's very lovely, Edelisa. Thank you so much. And just to point out, you have said it before also, there are no legal framework, but it is to be recognized since there are just tons of cases of how innocent citizens, again, as I have mentioned before, are tortured, abducted, like Bart Mondal's case, such as Kiriti's India case, and to the point of their being killed also with no supervisions of the designated law. So it's pretty much unfair for those who are, unknowingly killed without any law that supervises them. Yeah, okay, but maybe this is linked to the next question of who are actually the main perpetrators or who are actually the main actors for extrajudicial killing in your country. Maybe because Adele has stated last and have also mentioned the one case in Philippines. Maybe you can also elaborate the main actors for it in Philippines and also in Asia as a whole, Adele.
Thank you, Nadine. Um, th- in fairness, the extrajudicial killing did not start from this administration. It happens before. In fact, it is observed since 2001 that there's a number of extrajudicial killings in the Philippines, and it has been high, and the death toll has mounted steadily. However, when this uh, the president sworn into office, they have they declared automatically that they would like to contain or promise to eradicate illegal drugs. And just to do this, we have to kill uh, drug peddlers or drug addicts. And so I think going back to the question, in the past, comparing in the past, the victims of extrajudicial killings are those at least outside of the armed conflict zones. And so, for example, human rights defenders, journalists, trade unionists, and land reform advocates, um, they were the target of extrajudicial killing. However, now there are a lot of victims of extrajudicial killings coming from those suspected to be drug personalities or persons who use drugs or alleged to be involved in illegal drug trade or persons targeted by association or unintended persons caught in the crossfire. Um, there is, as I've said, even the police have admitted that they are allegedly um, using or there are excesses from the police in relation to this killings, no? And but however, there is also an accusation from the security forces that there is vigilante that instigate or complicity in the with complicity of the administration or police. Um, I do not. At first, it was more of drug personalities and drug peddlers, but right now, there is still ongoing killings of human rights defenders, and so I think this is one of our uh, issue as human rights defenders in the country. Thank
Okay,
you.
sure, sure. Again, a very interesting point of view from Adele, since you have said before that also human rights defenders are at risk of being extrajudicial killed, not killing but killed. This is quite interesting since the human rights defenders, as I have read also, are stating their rights for those citizens who have been killed without the designated law. And it is questionable of why should the security forces have to kill them, those who are stating of what's unfair in the country. So that's pretty questionable. Yeah, maybe a little bit for Adele, has there been any responses from ASEAN as one of the regional organizations to respond to not just economic but also social environment issues in Southeast Asia? Oh, you're still muted.
Okay. Um, do we mean where there's support, no, from the other countries? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Um, yes, there were support, but however, it is support in the sense that they would like to improve the quality of the governance in the Philippines. They would like to help with the Philippines um, to get more trainings or capacity building for the police, or the UN has declared the Joint United Nation and Philippine government program to improve the situation of human rights in the Philippines. And I think that's the support they get, or the government gets, from the different countries. But mostly in Southeast Asia, I'm sorry to say that they tend to be more silent. I do not know why, but we hope they will, the leadership in Southeast Asia will be more, uh, will not emulate what our administration has done.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much because it is quite interesting since they're also not only attacking the drug traffickers and drug users, but they're also attacking human rights defenders. So it's quite funny and ironic. That's why I asked before, what has the other countries in ASEAN take participation on the issue? So thank you, Adele, for your point of view and also your data. Maybe you can also jump to Kiriti, since I know he has tons of data, tons of informations for this question. I will repeat the question again. In India, Kiriti, who are the main perpetrators or who are the main actors for extrajudicial killing in your country, as well as South Asia that has been happening for years? You can just spill out from us.
Main perpetrators, uh, they are our servants. Um, it is the people who are paid from public exchequer, from our taxes. That means our servants, public servants. And they are killing their lords because we are the people. So it is those people who are being allowed to kill, torture, and everything uh, to suppress us. And it is in South Asia, it is everywhere. In Pakistan, in Bangladesh, in Sri Lanka, in India, in Afghanistan, everywhere. So um, the perpetrators are identified and they are being sheltered by the government, by the ruling party. So problem is how to fight with them. I earlier said that our judiciary, in particular lower judiciary, in India and in Bangladesh and in Pakistan, it is not independent, rather fully dependent upon the police and administration, the magistrates and etc. So to fight with this case and to address, uh, to ask for justice uh, in our countries, it is not possible until and unless the system is being changed. To change the system, to change this administration as human, uh, it is needed that international agencies, international human rights organization, the UN, should look after these areas. You asked, and Adel replied that ASEAN, yes, I know ASEAN is doing a little bit better than South Asia. In South Asia, there is only one SARC, and SARC is not working because the SARC countries, the state, the government, SARC governments, they are uh, all culprits, criminals. So they are not willing to defend human rights for the people. So it is better to them to keep mum, not to look after. And SARC does not have any human rights agenda from its birth.
Okay,
And
thank you so. Yeah. Okay, Kirti, you still
no,
want
no,
to?
no. If you have anything question, I can reply.
Yeah. I was just about to ask about the SAR because it's one of the regional organizations that is quite active for South Asia. But apparently, you have said it before that they're also the criminals. They're also the perpetrators. So that's quite interesting. Can you maybe uh, dig a little bit further on how the SAR views the extrajudicial killing in countries, for the member countries?
Yes, there were several attempts from civil society organization of different countries, but it failed. The governments sitting in SARC, they did not attend it. They are headquartered in Kathmandu, but we failed to create something. Some regional organizations, Forum Asia and others, they also tried, but it failed. It did not create any reaction that yes, something could be happen. So it is the situation, South Asia human rights situation is to create pressure internationally. Uh, yes, I am hopeless.
Yes, that is actually quite sad, but that is also one of the reasons why we should help this webinar for the listeners to understand more what is actually happening in Asia. So it's not just all about rainbows and butterflies and sunshines, but it's also about killing or to be killed by some perpetrators. So that's why this is a very something interesting and tricky to discuss because there are several authorities that we thought that we are safe with them in some cases, like to be killed. It's a very scary word, right? To be killed, like we need a protection, but actually the person or the place for protection is actually the perpetrator. You can actually say that they're the imposters the imposter. So that's quite interesting. Yeah. And that links also to my next question. Maybe Kiriti after this can answer. So this is clearly a violation, of course, for many perspective, such as the perspective of human rights from the OHCHR, since it has elaborate tons of laws on no one should be tortured, no one has the rights to be tortured, no one has the rights to be killed without a designated law again. So again, this is a tricky question, and maybe this might trigger Kiriti. Have there been solutions for and from the authorities to solve the extrajudicial killing in Asia? Or maybe have there been solutions from non-authorities that has been implemented in India or just in South Asia?
Uh, Thank you. There were several attempts, like A3T now is working. Earlier, there was some group, Forum Asia, and before that, there was Asian Human Rights Commission, Hong Kong. Yes, they tried something to address those issues of torture, killing, etc. But no, mm, no significant just create pressure or some change. No, it is not happened. Uh, there are process in domestic areas in each country, in Pakistan, Bangladesh, India, Sri Lanka, uh, but no, the governments are not willing to create some space for civil society. It is the main problem. Civic space is day by day, it is shrinking. And in each country, the democratic atmosphere, it is also shrinking. So, question of address to minimize torture, minimize extrajudicial killing, it should come from above. It is not, um, it can start from the bottom. So at the top, where government is sitting, they are not willing to address this issue, torture, killing, etc. So that's why these all are happening. Adel rightly pointed out HRDs. I am thinking about only in 1 year, 3 years back, in India, 11 human rights activists or defenders, they are being killed. All 11 people, they are working in RTI, right to information. They are sending some paper to the government asking what is what, according to law, and they are being killed. So it is the situation in India and also in Bangladesh and in Pakistan. They are being killed, and not a single perpetrator has been punished. Not a single. So it is the grave situation in those areas, South Asia countries, and in particular, same to our um, government, not to motherland. Mm, I am ashamed that I am Indian. Thank you.
Yeah. This can be linked maybe to structural impunity, since there has been tons of unresolved cases, and the G word or the government just stood still, and there hasn't been any concrete solutions, or maybe there were just promises, I think, for the human rights defenders to be maybe justice to get justice, but actually what you have stated before, the perpetrators have not been punished at all. So that's a quite shocking fact, since from what I have seen in Forum Asia, a website, um, and why when I search the word extrajudicial killing, it's all about India, but I haven't even seen the news of the government has done la 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 to the perpetrators. The government has la la. So again, that's quite sad, and I really do hope that the civil society organizations really maybe could just make a plan, or just make an underground, of course, an underground plan, maybe like A3T also, to just push the government. Hey, yo, the civil here are being punished for no reason. They're being killed for no reason. So where's your act? Where's your act of service? Uh, Again, that may be hard, since again it's already a structural impunity. Although again, it's ironic, since the CHR
CHR.
have, yeah, CHR have stated that there are tons of laws inside it. There should be none to be tortured if it's not for the law. But when India have also signed it, if I'm not mistaken, but it's not implemented at all. So that's quite
India,
shocking.
in
Uh-huh.
India, not ratified till date Convention against torture.
Uh,
India not ratified the killing, enforced disappearance declaration. So, in torture cases, we have have no right to appeal before OICHR torture committee. Only the special rapporteur, and special rapporteur is overburdened, and that's why we have joined A3T, so that A3T can take some steps at UN level to enforce the special rapporteurs and others UN mechanism to inspect those cases or issues in India.
mhm. Yeah, would like to highlight that the UN, all parts of the UN that has anything to do with torture, can inspect on what has been happening, the sad incidents in India. So yeah, I really do hope that the A3T could just, enforce all the governments that have been no have anything to do with extrajudicial killings, can push the perpetrators for justice. So that's a very, again, interesting point from KDT. Maybe we can jump to Adele from the Philippines. Yeah, you can just go on who. Oh, sorry, how are the authorities that have anything to do with extrajudicial killing, um, not just plan but also implement solutions, and was it worth the shot or not?
Thank you, Nadine. Again, we have, as I've said, the numbers or precise number of these killings is still contested. However, there is a vision that the practice is widespread, and that there are thousands of extrajudicial killings, but a few hundreds are only filed in domestic courts, meaning it is not effectively being addressed. Second, there appears to be condoning and even encouraging them. And the most cited among the criticisms, even the UN agree with this, is the lack of impartial, independent, and thorough investigations by the authorities in cases of extrajudicial killings. This has been uh, admitted already in the UN. And what is what does it mean? It also means that the relatives of the victims were prevented to to access justice, and the general public to learn the truth. This is the saddest part of our case, no? Um, and so this time, or the ongoing or this continuing killing of human rights defenders also, uh, what they call this is another is appears to be overwhelmed, no? Overwhelming uh, to the human rights organizations or human rights community. Um, and that's why there was an initiative from the government to reactivate the so-called administrative order administrative order number 35, no? There was this mechanism in 2012 or 2013 when it is operationalized, signed by the former or the late President Noynoy Aquino. There is this administrative order wherein they provide or they investigate cases of extrajudicial killings where, for example, the victims are members or affiliated to political, environmental, agrarian, labor, and similar causes. Second, it should be another cases that this administrative order accepts are media practitioners. And you know for a fact that the Philippines is now number one in the killings of media as well as lawyers, no? And some cases, high cases or high profile cases that is for mistaken identity or something like that. So this mechanism or administrative order is now doing its part. However, still there's a lot or um, there's a lot of things to do, or the numbers of thousands of extrajudicial killings outweighs um, those cases that is being resolved to courts or to investigations.
Yes, thank you very much for your point of view. Again, maybe it can be linked to structural impunity, just as what has been happening in India too, because the president of Philippines has stated the war on drugs, but actually war on citizens as a whole. So that's quite scary, and I can just imagine that the authorities can have nothing to do because they have to um they have to bow down to their president. So whether there's human rights defenders to fight over this issue, it's quite it's quite weak since the government itself is the main perpetrator for it. So yeah, I think from Kiriti and Edeliza's case, I think there's a missing link where actually the UN and the international entities have already stated that torture is not allowed, torture to innocent citizens aren't allowed, even if there are criminals or even if there are crime actions, it should be punished in regards to the law. But how the countries implement it, it's not actually based on law, but they just gonna, we can just cut these people out, and that's quite maybe not just unprofessional but also sad, since they have also not consider on how the international entities view them as a country, as a leader, and etc. So again, I really do hope that the civil society organizations that have deep connection, deep concern to these cases can just step down and do underground activities, underground plannings to extract and just to end this extrajudicial killing. Okay, I could just jump into this question I have mentioned before regarding CSOs. or the civil society organizations, surely I'm pretty sure and I'm pretty confident that there are solutions ready to be planned and implemented, since it is distinct from the NGOs, as well as the government, that maybe has no concern towards extrajudicial killing, especially the human rights defenders. So maybe Adele can start first on what has been done further by the CSOs in Philippines to tackle the issue. I know maybe this is quite a hard homework for the Philippine CSO, since the boss, the main boss, the level boss here is the president himself. So Adele, just spill it out for us.
Thank you, Nadine. Again, thank you for the for that. You're right. We have done a lot. However, um, we in the Philippines is not have the each one of us contribute to. It's not only the medical action group. It's not only the human rights organizations, but other organizations also, like faith-based, or some leaders in our country, like for example, politicians also call for what we call this as ceasefire on these killings. But however, most of our call to advance access justice towards accountability and ending impunity are: one is to full and strict implementation on the existing law. Whenever there is for example, a violation in relation to the existing law, each organizations, for example, Medical Action Group and other anti-torture uh, campaigners or advocates, uh, we we call on the government or the agencies in the government that they're at we call on their attention to state that this is against the Anti-Torture Act or against Anti-Enforced Disappearance Act. Second, we also file cases in courts, or we are part of the petitioners in relation to some cases, or for example, the anti-terror law. This is also linked to what we're talking about, no? Because there are some arrests and killings in relation to the under the guise of terrorism or anti-terror law. We also call for the provision or strengthening the witness protection. We were very staunch advocate of and this was mentioned again and again in the reports of those special rapporteurs who visited the country. They know for a fact that our witness protection program is not conducive. No, it's not favorable to the victims, and so there is no what they call this proactive or even witness do not want to be to be a witness in any killings, no. Even the families, no. The saddest part is that even the families who would like to who they who filed cases in court were visited by the police or the groups that killed the husband or the wives, no. And so fear of retaliation is um, very one of the main problems of those who are witness to the killings. And so we also call for the full range of services, no, for the victim survivors. We have to inform them of their rights. Some witness do not want, even though they know that they are already they have what they call this, they have already, we have already fully documented and we have all the evidences, but still because of the retaliation or fear for their lives, they do not want that. And also I think, as I've said already, we have asked for the reactivation of the Administrative Order 35, which is the super body that investigate killings of the human rights defenders, media, and other cases of mistaken identity or high-profile cases. And also, there were some reports of sensitization in the courts in relation to some cases. For example, um, cases of and also there's a lot, Nadine, there's a lot of things. For 5 years, civil society organizations have done a lot just to ensure that people have access to justice and to end this impunity. So to mention all of it is it requires a whole day, I think. And so to cut the story short, civil society in the Philippines have shown that they would like to advance the accessing justice and to resolve once and for all this problem of accountability and ends impunity.
Wow, thank you very much for your contribution. Your CSOs, of course, because again, when it regards to human rights, everyone will dig out for it. Everyone will search for it. Like um even when they are being punished for again no reason, they will search for passageways, they will search for doors, they will open doors for any organizations that will help them. So again, thank you very much for your contribution. I hope it really ends up well for the president, not just for your organization, and for also for the people who are counting on you. But maybe I want to have a little bit of a fun fact with Adele. Has there been any, threats or maybe death threats that has been sent from the authorities to your organization?
Yes, uh, it's it's hard, but we have, as a human rights organization, this is part of our commitment to the people. If we stop, then the people or the one who doing this threat won, no? So we do not stop, and we do not uh, fear for our lives, because this is our commitment and our advocacy. So I do not and it is has been, I think, they become bold enough, no, to be, for example, outside of our office. They have that bold. Before, they were only threatening through phones or uh, sending emails or doing some information, for example, posting as our organization as a front, communist front. They have done that. However, no, because we do not mind them, and because we have a commitment to serve the people, then the bold thing they are doing now is they're visiting the office, and they are right in front of the office, and they're taking pictures of our front gate. And so good luck to them.
Yeah, good luck to them. Yeah. Oh God. Okay. Wow. Very interesting story. Maybe me and Adele can have a tea after this to just talk about this further, since it's gonna be so fun talking about it. Okay. Yeah. Just to jump to Kiriti. Maybe I already know the answer for the role of CSOs in India, since it's very suppressed by the government and also international entities in South Asia. But could you just maybe spill out maybe what you have done so far with your organization? Kiriti, maybe you can explain further. And maybe you can explain also how many cases have you handled for this past 1 year?
Hmm, good. Uh, I I want to share first of all our own organization. Due to our uh, activities uh, against torture, against custodial deaths, extrajudicial killings, uh, governments have filed so many criminal cases against us, against almost all the activists in Masum. So you can understand easily that in India, you rightly said, the human rights activity, human rights defenders are under threat, always. And if you work on human rights activity on education issues, on water issues, then you are little bit safe. But if you are dealing with torture cases against the police and filing cases against the perpetrator police and took them to court, so they are being afraid. So they are targeting us. It is very simple mathematics. And also under threat, the eyewitnesses. Eyewitnesses or the victim's family, they are always under threat. We have several cases where first they killed the husband. When widow came to the court and we supported them, then widow also threatened, even killed. And all informations were sent to police, the line department of government, that widow has been threatened. Then she was killed, mysteriously killed. We in India, civil society organizations challenging torture, extrajudicial killing, it is very, very, uh, very serious task. Still, we are carrying on. And another aspect I want to share here, that the government is not only threatening or filing criminal cases, false criminal cases to the activists. As for example, Masoom applied for application sanction for foreign currency, foreign support. Here in India, we have FCRA, but we were denied till date for decades. So it is another area to suppress human rights activities. They are doing so. Um, uh, in India, particularly in Kashmir, uh, those people are Kashmir, Manipur, and several other areas. Uh, they are seriously under pressure from the government. Uh, Another area I want to share with you, that we have in India several networks, and our organization is involved in various networks, from right to food, from campaign against death penalty, from stop torture, from shrinking democracy, and many other networks. We are actively involved. But all these networks and their activities, it is monitored completely from the intelligence department everywhere. Everywhere you go to some program, some street meeting, or to any, they are being always monitored. So many intelligence people are coming and monitoring. Even they are recording everything, all this. You don't have the rights of, your dignity or everything. And now come to your, please let me, what is your actual question, the CSO? Nothing?
Yeah. Sorry, the
What
connection is
is,
a bit Uh-huh.
What is your main question?
Oh yeah.
Address?
The main question was how do CSOs tackle the issue, and was it worth the shot to tackle the issue for extrajudicial killing?
Oh, um, I already narrated that extrajudicial killing who are taking the cases for the victim to get justices. The court is not sensitive. They don't even bother the international laws and guidelines. They are only looking after their, orthodox manner, the Indian. So it is very difficult to address extrajudicial killing before the court of law, before the NHRC. In India, we have mm, practically 180 human rights institutions, all total. But they all are simply bullshit. They are doing nothing. They have taken sleeping pill and they are sleeping in their offices. So office is not working. So it is the general situation in India to for reparation, for justice. No, it is not working. So civil society organization is struggling very much.
Okay. So first, it is not the extrajudicial killing that's being supervised, but it's actually the Masum India's being supervised by the government and also the authorities. That's actually again funny, since Masum India has thought that there are tons of extrajudicial killing by authorities that has nothing to do with the case, but they're actually supervising the CSO, Masum India, that is going to defend the case. So that's actually quite ironic. But maybe this is a little bit out of topic, but I'm quite curious about the journalists and also the media in India. Has there been, movements for them to highlight the cases of extrajudicial killing in India and South Asia, or the case are just too secretive and mysterious that it's not published or highlighted by the media and journalists? What do you think, Kiriti?
Media house in India is completely divided. Most of the leading media houses are being captured by the ruling party, and that is being led by the Hindu fundamentalists uh, uh, and the capital. So, to take up the news from the ground, what is being happened, the real journalism, uh, it is day by day in India. Again, it is syncretism. Uh, I just I know the in Philippines, Edel's country, uh, probably 11 journalists were being killed. In India, in last 3 years, about 70 or 75 journalists have been killed. In Bangladesh, so many journalists have been taken in custody, and their bodies disappeared. Still, so many journalists are being sent to jail in Pakistan. So it is the general situation in South Asia of the media, journalists, the fourth pillar of democracy. So you can understand the situation of these areas.
Yeah, so that means that being a journalist and a part of the media is a very risky job to do there, since they're either abducted or killed. So this opens much more many questions, that how is Indian citizens going to publish and just highlight the cases? That's not really unfair to the citizens. So this could also mean that the authorities are really trying to conceal the extrajudicial killing cases in India. Is my confirmation correct, Kiriti?
Yes,
Okay. Wow. That explains a lot. Since journalists and media has a big responsibility to publish anything that harms also the citizens, and should put warning to the citizens that their country is not at state of stability in terms of politics and economy or social environment. So this is quite also new for me of what you have said it before. Thank you very much for your perspective. And I would like also to ask Kiriti, um, there has been tons of extrajudicial killings, as well as abducted and then tortured and then killing with international border officers. So can you please elaborate more on that, and what has been done so far by the Masum? I see you smiling, Kiriti, for this case. What has been done by Masum and maybe the CSOs that is conflicted with Masum, because maybe I've heard the case of the Barat Mondal. By he's killed by the international border from Bangladesh. So has there been any communications with Masum by Masum India to the CSOs in Bangladesh, or
yes. We
okay?
have contacted so many friends in Bangladesh. Bangladesh situation is also very grave. Um, member of A3T is Odhikar, and their head is Adil and Elan. They are facing criminal trials. So situation of Bangladesh is not very good also. We have contacted, everything is being, yes, coordinated, and Bharat Mondal body has been received by India. Again, postmortem has been done. I want to say just 2 3 words that in Bangladesh border with India, it is about 4,042 kilometers. So in this area, though Bangladesh is a friendly country with India, but this border is, according to Human Rights Watch, their report, it is a trigger happy area. So here every year, uh, according to our statistics, more than 150 people are being killed. Millions are being tortured. At least 100 to 200 women are being raped by this force. Last year, we have our fact-finding report that 10 to 11 people, they are being taken in custody and their body has been disappeared. We filed so many cases of habeas corpus in High Court, and High Court judges are being are not able to hear those cases due to COVID. I don't know what is the COVID, no, but court is not sitting. So it is the general situation. Um, Government is allowing now, 3 days before, Government of India, Ministry of Home Affairs, um, empowered border security force of Bangladesh border 50 kilometers inside Indian territory. So Indian territory border area starts from 50 kilometers away. So all the many districts, subdivisions will be now under border security force here, and they can arrest, they can kill, they can search, they can seizure, everything. So last day, I am sorry. Last day there was a huge meeting. We convened high court judges, lawyers, juries, uh, journalists, all political parties. They attended. We tried to raise this issue. There was a public discussion, open discussion. That's why I lost everything in my mind. That when the questions, etc. That's why I asked you. So we are trying our best.
Okay, yeah, really best of luck for Masum India, since yeah, fun fact, um Masum India has sent me tons of news, heartbreaking news, in regards to international border officers, and we should be, be quick to respond to these cases. But as far as I've sent their urgent appeal, it hasn't been responded yet. So it'll be again, maybe you can call it as a dead end, because in internal or in domestic situation, whether in Philippines or in India, the government is really supervising the CSOs who are trying to cope, not just cope, but trying to solve the extrajudicial killing or the trashes done by them. And when we're about to pile it up, it goes back again all over the place. And when we want to cooperate, where Masum and also Philippines want to cooperate with the other CSOs in other countries, it also being supervised, and the other countries are also being held captive. So it's really a dead end. And this leads to my another of my fun fact questions. Will there be maybe light for this issue? Will there be maybe a spring of hope for this case, because human lives are being depicted for no reason. So I don't know if we will hold hope for this case and also for the perpetrators to gain justice or not. So again, will there be hope? Will there be light for this case? Maybe you can start with Kiriti first, since he's trying to think of what should answer in India's case. Yeah.
Uh, yes, frankly speaking, um, I am too old, and I spent about 40 to 50 years in this field. So I am little bit hopeless. But yesterday's meeting give me some again hope. People suggested something to inform parliamentarians to make one private bill placed before parliament, and many other things. We have to chalk down what we can do, what we can do with others. A network should be again established. Yes, we are trying to address this issue, and hopefully we can do this. But I don't know what will be the result. I am thinking about only the, in India in particular, I don't know about in other areas, the killing in custody, killing, uh, cross border, cross firing. Those people are being killed. They are marginalized. In India, they are Muslims, they are Dalits, they are tribal. And if you believe in Marxist theory, they are have-nots, they are proletariats. So this is the situation. Those people who are in the dark will be killed, and there will be no response from the government that haunts us. to move forward, to do something for those people.
Yeah. I could also really hope that there will be a glance of or a glimpse of solution for us to just tackle the issue, because it has been happening for years, and it does not only affect the citizens, the entire citizens, but also it attacks the marginalized citizens, just as you stated before. And it also affects on how we view other countries as our partners, as our stakeholders. So yeah, we just hope for the best and just do what we can do at the moment. If we can make urgent appeal, we make urgent appeals. If we can make the letters, we can make letters. If we can just monitor, we monitor the situation. But again, we have to be really careful, since we're being supervised not only by the higher ups but also by the citizens who are maybe siding with the higher ups. So it's quite a big homework, a large homework, a big pile of homework for us to really complete this mission and homework. Thank you very much, Kiriti. And what about
Thank you.
Adele? Yeah, thank you, Kiriti. What about you, Adele? I see you laughing also, so maybe you can just state your statement.
Yes, thank you. The rays of hope. The rays of hope there is that there are a few months left for this administration. No, no, no. Joking aside, I think the rays of hope is more if it is the people who have now um, seen the challenge of the weak institutions and corruptions in the Philippines. Because of if it's not, then we all go back to zero again. Meaning, if the people do not from the observations, so most of the people now are very vocal, and they have seen what a waste of lives and money is this war on drugs campaign, uh, and it reinforces the challenge of impunity or accountability. But for us, so human rights advocates or defenders, we are very happy at the moment because there is a growing um, uh, awareness on the people that there is, especially when the ICC, or the prosecutor Fatu announces that the they will start to investigate cases in the Philippines. The second rays of hope is that from the victim side, they are still available, and they cooperate with us, and also even without the protection, no, nobody can protect fully gave protection from them, but still because of um, their law, the injustices felt by these families. I think they 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 will fight up to the end or until the end. And finally, however, there's still a lot of work to do, and we will continue to raise awareness to ensure that this documentation and reporting cases of human rights violations continue. We will continue to mobilize against these suppressive laws. Uh, that in itself is the rays of hope and the lights on the other side of the tunnel for us. Sorry, no elaboration. Only I think our continued work and support to the victims of human rights violations can uh, is sufficient or enough to pursue and to ensure that justice will be served to these victims.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point, point of view also, Adele, since we have to also realize that the civils are still counting on us, um, especially for those who are still retained by their cases. They're still, of course, relying on the CSOs on Philippines as well as India. Masum, again, I highlight because Kiriti have said before that there are no active CSOs, so maybe they can only rely on Masum. Hopefully, this will be not only a big challenge for us, but also a very big stepping stone, a very big stepping stone for us to, light the fire to just solve the cases one by one. Really do hope, even though I can't really say that 100% that it can be implemented well, since there will be rocks, there will be locks in our way. But I believe that when the citizens are relying on us to solve the issues and also to solve the unfair issues that is bestowed on them, we can just solve them one by one. Also through A3T structure. Hopefully, this can be done before, Edel have said it, before the end of our administration period. Okay, so maybe we can just move on to the next question. This question is also linked to the previous one. Okay, so based on what we have discussed from the very first question until the last question, how do we actually settle killings, extrajudicial killings, judging by the various actors or perpetrators and also the CSOs who are trying so hard to solve the issues in Asia? Maybe this can be pointed out as what are the ideal concrete solution for us to just implement it, try maybe in trial and error system to try it further. Maybe we can go from Adele first.
Thank you, Nadine.
Adele?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
for us, no. First of all, it should be people should have uh, our I'm just curious, does anybody has law in relation to extrajudicial killing? Or was it definitely defined in some countries? Even in Southeast Asia or Asia? Because it always start to policies, right? And second, I hope there would be an action in relation to the our what they call this, our human rights organization. For example, us in Southeast Asia, we have iChair, and they have SARC, right? And so the with these mechanisms, you can now ask or request for to conduct an impartial investigation in cases there is an exhaustion already in domestic courts, right? And so I hope this will be um, our future scenarios, better future scenarios, that there are regional mechanisms, so human rights mechanisms will be in place and active in ensuring that those human rights violations are reported or conduct impartial investigation or ensuring that they are prosecuted in all cases in all courts. So in the country and other areas, like for example the ICC right now. Um, and for us, no, I think what is needed is to um, ensure that the solidarity between and among ourselves, no, the NGO, CSOs who's campaigning against this human rights violation will be more stronger, will be more and help each other in ensuring that victims or countries that has a high impunity or less regards for the law or the rule of law will uh, will support the CSOs and between among CSOs will help each other. Last but not the least, we can also call for each other's country, our government in each country, to be transparent, no, in each other in relation to um, ensuring that the right of everyone, not only Filipino, to have uh, official documents that we can work into to ensure that there will be that people will have justice, no, or access to justice. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Adele, thank you very much. So maybe I could highlight from your statement is the stronger bond between CSOs within countries. Maybe we can take, for example, A3T in order to solve extrajudicial killing and torture issues in Asia as a whole. That is first. And also the transparency from the government, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the transparency from the government in order to implement the international law, especially what has been what has been not implemented but planned by the OHCSR. Since it's a very, for me, it's a very detailed international law to discuss regarding torture and extrajudicial killing. So it's up also to the governments in Asia to just implement and just to ratify, for those who haven't ratified, in order for us to tackle the issue. Okay, that's from Adele. What about from you, Kiriti? Hello, Kiriti? Okay, maybe Kiriti's connection is not quite stable. Yeah, maybe maybe his connection is not quite stable. It's okay. Maybe Kiriti could add more later on. Yeah. Maybe. Oh, okay. He's on. Okay. Kiriti, can you hear me loud and clear? Oh, you're still muted. You're still muted, Kiriti. You have, yeah.
Now,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's on now.
okay, okay. This is one old man. Sorry, I am not. You know your situation. I am not. So I want to only say that we the people are being killed. We the people are being tortured, though it is not sanctioned by our domestic law, not even international law, but it is still going on. And India is a member of OECHR, taking regular pledge that they will uphold the human rights and all these things. Practically the bullshit. Real face is another thing, and there is mask of India in at OECHR. So we have to unmask them, and we are trying our best until and unless the international society is being alarmed or they are willing to do some positive move. It is not possible. We can raise this issue. We can raise this issue from the ground, but how to solve it, I do not know. The judiciary is not here. International body, they are practically expressing some statement, and it is going to waste paper basket. Uh, to me, it is the, I think that people of India under pressure by the government machinery, by the police, by the armed forces. If there can be some plan at international level that through A3T, government of India will be under pressure, then something can be solved. Until and unless it will be the same saga. So it is my opinion. And as Adil said, human rights mechanism, it is something very, frankly speaking, it is very stupid. Uh, Take it for just assumption. European Union is very fond of human rights, and European Union also, they have their very active wing of trade. India is a population of about 133 crores of people. This vast market. So European Union has to get some trade in India. Then they have to support Indian government. Though Indian government is totally a violator of human rights. So what will be the priority? Human rights or trade relationship? So it is the question. I am too old. I am going to, I don't know how many days I am still live. But to me, it is at least now A3T, if can take some positive favor, positive step, not like AHRC or Forum Asia. Forum Asia don't have any mandate on torture extrajudicial killing. They are not doing. So if A3T can do something positive, it may be very small, but it is positive, a pointed one. Then, yes, we'll be. We think that these torture, extrajudicial killing issues can be addressed effectively. If you need more documents, more statements, more victims' cases, and we filed before NHRC, Government of India, Government of West Bengal, and the Special Rapporteur of torture, extrajudicial killing, trafficking in at OHCHR, we can give those all those cases. But if you, first of all, you please think, yes, I accept this webinar, but I will be more happy if you can start work to address torture, extrajudicial killing in true spirit.
Okay, wow. Again, a really large pile of homework for us all and also for for A3T. Yeah, what I want to highlight there, what Kiriti have stated before, is the international pressure to India. Hopefully, that will be the very first step to do if the government wants to, maybe make a move, make a little move to solve the cases, unresolved cases. Pretty sure that there are years of piled up cases for India. It should be settled by one. And also, if I would like to add
Yeah.
what Kiriti have stated and from Adeliza as well, is for the people power. Is that we actually, even though what we have done so far is quite small, and maybe it is only targeted to several groups, maybe marginalized groups or just groups in the certain country, but it can be a big impact once we have make an awareness for the respected organization or the respected authority to just know what is happening inside India, what is happening in Philippines, what is happening in Myanmar, probably what is happening in Indonesia, of course, in Papua. Yeah. Just to tell a little bit, it saddens me also when I uh, read the news, the extrajudicial killing for students in Papua. It has been going on in 2019 to 20, and even until now. They were only voicing out that there is racism here, but extrajudicial killing kept happening. They were tormented first to the point of being killed. So I still believe in the power of people, or we know as the people power. it can be a great solution for us to solve it one by one, and it can be a very first step also, not just for the international entity to the government, but also to the power of people to the government as well. Yeah. I think that settles all for our webinar today. It has been a great, fruitful discussion, and it has been a very honor to me to discuss with Kiriti and also Adele. And even though I have read the news and articles on what has been happening in India and Philippines and also South Asia and Asia as a whole, but I really need to hear directly from Kiriti and Adele. Yeah, maybe starting from Kiriti first, do you have any closing statements for the audiences here who are watching?
I have already stated. Um,
Okay.
the A3T should take up very seriously the cases of torture and extrajudicial killing uh, in an effective manner, and we will be with A3T.
Okay. Okay, sure thing. We will try as best as we can to solve the mystery one by one, like Scooby Doo once said, and Shaggy. Okay, what about from Adele? Any closing statements for this webinar?
Yes, thank you for the invitation, and I hope some of the people was enlightened with some of our discussions here. But only two things, no. As I've said, I come from the health sector, and most of these war or this anti-crime in relation to the war on drugs is proven to be ineffective. And so, what we are calling for is that let us look into the perspective of on the public health side, no. That's most of the government look at it on the after a few years of having killed so many people. This was done long before in other countries. And so I do not know why did we adopt that kind of approach. And so we hope it should not be replicated in other countries right now because this has proven to be ineffective. Second, coming again from the human rights organization or being a human rights advocate, I would like to say and reiterate the primacy of the right to life. Nobody should be killed just because um, he is a drug user. It is not an offense that is criminal in nature. And so we have to understand those people, where they're coming from. And so that is my short and sweet closing remarks. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Adele. Okay, so we're actually going to move on to the question and answer section, but since there hasn't been any questions so far, so maybe I would just like to read this one poem that has touched me. It is called Speaking Out Against Extrajudicial Killing. It is pointed out, it is written by Faith Atieno. She is from Kenya, Amnesty Kenya. So let me just read it out loud for our audiences as well. By providing celebratory drum beats when officers take the law in their own hands, they won't be killed if they don't break the law. But when, whose lenses do we use before passing the affliction? If we truly know that everyone is innocent till proven otherwise, then why do we compromise? The otherwise entails going through a legal process. Take a, take a second for this one. Justice is actually a process. It is a process. So this is actually a very great poem from Faith. Yes, thank you for your clapping, Adelisa. I've read this before just last night, and as I read it again, it's really sad to see that again, extrajudicial killing is actually one of the cases that saddens me the most in this era, since I know that there are people who are just going to their agricultural work, they're abducted, and to the point they're killed when their family didn't even know where they went after he or she went to work, and the body has not been found yet. There's tons of cases, and the cases just vary, and it has been a great homework also for the CSOs to solve, but it has not been either touched or either solved by the higher ups. So again, as my closing statement here, we from A3T, also representing all the CSO members inside, really do hope that the extrajudicial killing will be resolved one by one, and we really hope that there is a mechanism for us as the people power to push the government to also resolve the case involving in this extrajudicial killing. Okay, that is all for me. I'm Nadine Sharani, checking